Welcome once again to Good Frickin' Cookin' with your host, Ryan Frick. That'd be me. Today we're going to make meaty, cheesy lasagna. This dish is not for the faint of heart. This is what men want to eat. Ladies, this is what you feed your husband when you made the car's bumper kiss the back of the garage, or when you're trying to soften him up for the money to buy that new dress you saw in the store window yesterday. So without further ado, let's get to it. So the first task up is to go ahead and dice up your onions. You can use one large one. I got a couple of small ones here. Once you've done that, go ahead and get a fry pan and over medium-high heat, throw in a couple of tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. Then add in your onions and saute them about 7-8 minutes until they're nice and translucent. Once you've done that, go ahead and add in your garlic and cook it about a minute more. So for my meat, I'm using this meatloaf mix. It's a blend of beef, veal, and pork, and it looked really good to me, and I thought, what the hell, I'll use it. So it's 2.5 pounds, which is a lot. But go ahead and add it in and saute it until it's no longer pink. Then once all the grease is rendered, what you do is push all your meat to one side, and then you take paper towels and sop that up. And it took me a few paper towels because this stuff was pretty greasy, but get most of it out. Then go ahead and add in about a half cup of red wine and cook your meat for a little bit longer. And you can see what kind of wine I'm using, right? Only the best. So once you've cooked the meat and the wine for about 5 more minutes, go ahead and reserve it in a bowl. So now on to our pasta. In a large pot full of boiling water and a little bit of extra virgin olive oil to keep them from sticking, go ahead and add in a couple of good handfuls of salt, and then lay your pasta noodles all crossways like that so they don't stick together. Turn off your heat and let them sit in there for a good 5-6 minutes. Then go ahead and strain them out, rinse them, and either keep them in a bowl of cold water or in between layers of damp paper towels. So next step is to prepare our cheese. Now what I got is a couple of pounds of, well, this cheese here. And that's a funny story. Every time I go and watch somebody on TV, like Mario Batali, he calls this ricotta. I watch Giada De Laurentiis and she calls this ricotta. Every other Italian I see on TV, they call this cheese ricotta. But I live in Utica, and in this area, all the Italians call this ricotta. Don't ask me why. I don't know what part of Italy they're from that calls it ricotta, but if you don't call it that, they just give you a funny look. So anyway, with 2 pounds of this cheese, you add in 2 eggs, a half cup of Parmesan cheese, and a good tablespoon or so of basil. Now, I know fresh basil is better, but I went to the store and I forgot it. Here you could also add in oregano or even the Italian seasoning, but I just like parsley and basil in mine. So anyway, go ahead and give that a good mix until everything's all nicely incorporated, and then we move on to the next step. So now it's time for the assembly. Get yourself a nice, great big 9 by 15 by 3-inch pan. If you don't have one, go to Walmart and get it. It's like $10. You're going to need it for this recipe. Anyway, go ahead and lay down a layer of sauce. It's probably a cup or so. Even it out there. Then go ahead and lay down a layer of noodles. Now, I didn't take my own advice, and I didn't let my noodles cook long enough, and they were still a little stiff and not so pliable, and some of them broke. Not a big deal. It's all going to taste great. So go ahead and lay down a layer of them. Next, we're going to put down about half of our ricotta mixture and even that out. Next up is our layer of meat. Go ahead and take half of that and lay that down in a nice even layer. Now you see I'm only going 2/3 of the way up the pan, and that's because my daughter Kristen does not like ground beef. She never has, so, I got to take care of my baby girl, and so I left her a spot that she can eat. Next up is our mozzarella. You put half of that down in a layer, break it up in little pieces so it's nicely covered and even, and then you go ahead and add in your Parmesan cheese. Oh, that's right. I purposely left out the Parmesan cheese in this layer. Oh well, moving on. Next up is a third of your sauce, another third of your noodles, the rest of your ricotta cheese, the rest of your beef mixture, and about a half cup of your Parmesan. And to top it off, we use the rest of our noodles, the rest of our sauce, and the rest of our cheeses. Go ahead and tin it with foil and pop that into a preheated 375-degree oven for 25 minutes. Remove the foil and bake it for another 25. And when it comes out of the oven, it looks like this. Looks good already, doesn't it? Look at all that ooey gooey cheese. It's just overflowing the pan there, isn't it? Anyway, go ahead and hit it with some rough chopped fresh parsley, probably 4 or 5 tablespoons full, and let it sit for a good 20-25 minutes so that when you cut into it, it doesn't all fall apart. Well, that's it. I can't wait any longer. Let's get a hunk of this in the bowl. Oh man, doesn't that look good? Ooey gooey cheese and that sauce, all that meat. This is a man's meal for sure. You know what, ladies? You serve this to your husband, he just might buy you those new pair of shoes to go with that dress. Well, thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed watching this as much as I enjoyed making it. Until next time, this is Good Frickin' Cookin' with Ryan Frick. Catch you later.